Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving into the incredible, intense story of the Zulu War of 1879. This was one of the most dramatic conflicts of the 19th century, a clash between the British Empire, one of the most powerful forces of the time, and the Zulu Kingdom, a resilient and proud African empire with its own unique fighting traditions and culture. This war wasn't just about two sides fighting. It was a clash of ideologies, misunderstandings, and power plays. So, let's get right into it. Alright, so to understand the Zulu War, we have to step back and look at what was happening in South Africa at the time. Britain was in the middle of expanding its empire. They had just taken control of the Cape Colony, and were keen on expanding their influence into neighboring territories. Now, right next to them was the Zulu Kingdom, which was under the rule of a very influential king, Cetshwayo Kampandi. Cetshwayo had built a strong, disciplined army based on a system created by the legendary Zulu King Shaka Zulu. The Zulu warriors were known for their discipline and bravery, and their society was organized in a way that heavily emphasized loyalty and unity. The British saw this strength, and they viewed the Zulus as a potential threat, but also the British just couldn't resist adding another piece of land to their empire. So, in December 1878, the British delivered an ultimatum to Cetshwayo. They demanded he disband his army, accept British authority, and allow Christian missionaries to enter Zulu land freely. Now, to put it lightly, this was an outrageous demand. To Cetshwayo, these terms were essentially asking him to surrender his kingdom without a fight. The British assumed the Zulus would comply, but Cetshwayo, he wasn't about to back down. Cetshwayo refused the ultimatum, which set the stage for war. The British underestimated both the resolve and the military capabilities of the Zulu people. They didn't think a native army could actually pose a real threat, but as we'll see, they were very, very wrong. January 22, 1879. The first major battle of the war was at Isandlwana, a rocky hill in Zululand. The British forces, under the command of Lord Chelmsford, had split their troops. Chelmsford assumed the Zulu army was small and that a divided force would be enough, but the Zulus had an ace up their sleeve, their famous battle tactic called the horns of the buffalo. The horns were the wings of the army that encircled the enemy, while the chest attacked head-on, and the loins held reserve troops ready to reinforce where needed. The Zulus executed this maneuver perfectly. When the British realized what was happening, it was too late. By the end of the day, the British suffered one of their worst defeats in colonial history. Around 1,300 British soldiers and their allies lost their lives. This battle shattered the myth of British invincibility and sent shockwaves throughout the empire. It showed that the Zulu Kingdom was a formidable opponent. Now, let's move on to a battle that happened just hours after Isandlwana, the Battle of Rorke's Drift. After the crushing defeat at Isandlwana, a small British garrison of about 150 men stationed at a mission station called Rorke's Drift faced an attack from over 3,000 Zulu warriors. The British soldiers, many of them sick and inexperienced, used makeshift defenses, stacking mealie bags and furniture to hold off the Zulus. What followed was a 10-hour siege in which the British, against all odds, managed to repel the Zulus through sheer determination and strategic defense. Rorke's Drift became a symbol of British bravery, and the soldiers there were awarded an astonishing 11 Victoria Crosses for their actions. This victory gave the British public something to hold on to after the disaster at Isandlwana. After Isandlwana, the British were determined to avenge their loss. They sent in more troops, better armed and with stronger tactics. Over the following months, the British forces slowly made their way through Zululand, defeating Zulu armies and capturing key points. By July 4, 1879, the British finally defeated the Zulu at the Battle of Ulundi, the Zulu capital. Cetshwayo was captured and exiled, marking the end of the Zulu Kingdom as an independent power. The British divided Zululand into smaller territories, and it eventually became part of British-controlled South Africa. So, What's the legacy of the Zulu War? This wasn't just a story of British dominance. It's also a story of a proud kingdom fighting for its independence. The Zulu people paid a heavy price, but the bravery and skill they showed during the war are still celebrated in South African culture today. And the war itself, especially battles like Isandlwana, serve as powerful reminders of what happens when empires underestimate the people they seek to control. The Zulu War of 1879 reminds us that history is never as simple as good versus evil. It's filled with complex characters, cultural pride, and the consequences of power struggles. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this breakdown of the Zulu War interesting, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. Let's keep exploring the fascinating events that have shaped our world.